the area's only primetime newscast. This is the Fox 21 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Connie LeGrand.
I'm Craig Smith. Welcome to the premiere broadcast of the Fox 21 10 o'clock news. Our goal is to give you all your news first, so you don't have to wait until 11. In addition, David Morin will have your weather first, and you'll get all your sports first with Fred Cunningham.
And for those of you who have tuned in to see Star Trek: The Next Generation, rest assured it'll be on after our news.
To the news now. First tonight at 10, Greenville County's administrator is on the hot seat tonight. Some council members want to know why Gerald Seals is spending more money than other county leaders. Seals is being questioned about his office's spending practices. He's the subject of a special county council meeting this evening. Fox 21's Diana Watson is at that meeting and joins us live now from County Square. Diana, what's happened at the meeting so far?
So far, this meeting has just taken a dramatic turn at this point. The meeting concentrated on a life insurance policy held by Seals for most of the meeting. There's some question over a whole life policy he carries. Council members say it is much more expensive than a term life policy held by most county employees. Seals' contract said they would pay for that instead of paying more for a whole life policy. Now, taking a look at some of the video from tonight, council members had been asking why Seals gets whole life coverage at $2,600 a year, and others receive term life at just over $350 a year. After a meeting in the executive session, one council member, Richard Ashmore, came out and requested that the state attorney general look into Seals' spending practices. Seals had this response.
There was a discussion, there was several attempts to resolve later. May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Am I under criminal investigation?
And one motion is to ask the Attorney General to determine if an investigation of Mr. Seals is warranted given recently disclosed facts. The other is to ask the Attorney General to investigate the allegations. I can't answer.
At this point, the meeting continues. There have been two executive sessions tonight. One of the council members, Fletcher Smith, left this meeting early. He says he will not take part in any type of criminal investigation. He requested that Mr. Seals have an attorney present before they go into questioning like that. And he says until then, he'll be leaving. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Diana. An upstate group home where a handicapped man died could be on the verge of getting its license back. The Greenville community residence had its license yanked after Ricky Smith died from sitting in a tub of scalding water. The state took control of the home, and one investigator says after looking over patient records, no major violations were found. Still, prosecutors are considering criminal charges.
Flooding tonight in western North Carolina. Residents are contending with swollen creeks due to the heavy rains. With all the rain comes the familiar warning from police. It's a bad idea to try to drive through those creeks because it's tough to tell how deep the water is. But as you can see from these pictures, some motorists found out the hard way. In other parts of North Carolina, the heavy rains caused less severe problems, but they were inconvenient. Vacationers enjoying the last days before school starts had to pack up around campsites in Bat Cave and Chimney Rock. Flood watches were issued Sunday night and heavy rains fell today. State emergency workers continue to keep a close eye on the system, but have not issued any mandatory evacuations. Well, is there more rain in the forecast, and are we expecting any more problems with the flooding? Get your weather first tonight with David Morin.
I think we've had enough rain, to tell you the truth. Over 2 inches in the past 24 hours at Greenville-Spartanburg Airport. We've seen almost 2 inches in Asheville, but it's going to start slacking off and move out of the area. Here's your weather first forecast, what we're looking for. We're going to see a little sunshine for the upstate, 83-hour high tomorrow. Looks like a little more rain for the mountains, 74 for their high temperature. We'll have your complete forecast. That's all coming up in just a few minutes. Craig?
First step toward restoring the American dream. That's what some Republicans are calling day one of the GOP convention. Mike Schneider is in San Diego. Mike?
When the Republican leaders planned their convention here in San Diego, they wanted the country to see them as one big happy family. So far, that's the way it looks. They managed to put their differences aside, at least in public, and the mood was going up as the gavel came down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats so we can begin the important business of our convention.
It couldn't have had a better start. The convention opened with Bob Dole finally getting that endorsement from Pat Buchanan. Just about everybody talking up the Dole-Kemp ticket, even Kemp himself.
Bob Dole's the quarterback, I'm the blocking back, and I understand my role. And if it ever is more, then I'll be ready for what what I'm prepared for.
The emotional high point so far, Mary Fisher, who brought them to tears 4 years ago, reminding them that the fight against AIDS is not over.
I may lose my own battle with AIDS, but if you would embrace moral courage tonight and embrace my children when I'm gone, then you and Hydea and I would together have won a greater battle, because we would have achieved integrity.
The emotional high point, as we mentioned, if you look across the floor, you see people like Pat Buchanan suddenly here walking around, a variety of political figures who seem bent, at this point, really hell-bent upon showing that this party has pulled itself together.
Mike Schneider reporting live from San Diego. South Carolina Governor David Beasley got some time in the spotlight at the convention today. Beasley used a brief speech to compare South Carolina tax cuts with Bob Dole's economic plan. Beasley says the similarities prove Dole's plans aren't just theory. It's Beasley's first address in a national forum.
Race is at the heart of a lawsuit over voting districts in South Carolina. A trial began in Columbia today, challenging the way boundaries were mapped out for the State House and Senate. Former House Speaker Bob Shaheen says race was the prime factor in creating new legislative districts. He also says the Justice Department recommended the changes. Judges will decide if the redistricting is unconstitutional. Other news from the Carolinas, first at 10. North Carolina's former Secretary of State is apparently off the hook. After 4,000 hours of investigating, the Wake County DA is not filing criminal charges against Rufus Edmiston. The investigation began with a state audit last fall that criticized Edmiston's management of his agency. Edmiston resigned in the midst of the probe. An Anderson student is the talk of his class. Students are wondering if Jamie Kinley will return to school with or without his Confederate flag jacket. Kinley was suspended twice back in January for wearing this jacket to Lakeside Middle School. Afterward, Kinley's parents filed suit against the school district. Kinley plans to return to Lakeside on Monday morning, but the question remaining is...
Lakeside, is that if they make you?
I think about that one.
They wouldn't give him the chemo.
Kinley's family has asked a federal judge to allow him to go back to Lakeside with his jacket. They hope to hear something before classes start on Monday. A truce of sorts over the Citadel and its plan to admit women. After 4 hours behind closed doors today, lawyers eventually agreed locks will be put on dorm doors of 3 women planning to attend this fall. Attorneys had said earlier that this was discriminatory. The Citadel also agreed to modify a policy on pregnant cadets. Instead of being kicked out of school, pregnancy will be treated as a temporary disability. That's news from the Carolinas, first at 10.
A victory for the operators of the Greer Dragway. They'll be racing into the night on September 5th. Today, the Spartanburg County Council approved a request to race on that night. Track operators have been going round and round with neighbors over complaints about the noise level. Those complaints led to an ordinance limiting the hours of operation at the Dragway. Council decided to relax the restrictions so the Dragway could hold its annual fundraiser for the Shriners. That'll be on September 5th from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock. Residents of an apartment complex are soaked to the bone when their home collapses. That's next. Plus, why are so many young Americans shaping up with surgery? The Fox 21 10 o'clock news continues in a moment.
You are watching the Fox 21 10 o'clock news. It's about time.
In the nation first tonight, the TWA explosion. An Israeli newspaper reports the FBI has some questions for a Lebanese terrorist being held in Israel. That news comes the same day as investigators focus on signs of heavy fire damage where the right wing of Flight 800 connected to the fuselage. Investigators say there is still no evidence of terrorist ties to the explosion. Meanwhile, salvage crews found another body today. All but 31 bodies have been recovered. It makes it kind of hard to walk out the front door when your apartment building is sitting in the ocean. Look at this video. The building in Massachusetts collapsed and slid into the water last night. A half a dozen people were actually inside that building when it took the plunge. Investigators believe the century-old piling supporting the building simply collapsed. Incredible, but there were no serious injuries. Utility officials are beginning to shed some light on what caused a 9-state power outage out west. They say record high temperatures on Saturday caused lines to sag onto trees and short out. That was about the same time there was a loss of power. More than 4 million people were affected by that outage this weekend.
There will not be a gold rush at a site near Yellowstone National Park. President Clinton signed a deal today to prevent gold mining near the park. Environmentalists say the mining operation would pollute waterways. The Crown Butte Mining Company gives up its right to mine. Owners at the company say the mine would have been worth $650 million. In return, the company gets government land worth $65 million. The president calls it a win-win situation. A protest in President Clinton's front yard. Members of the National Organization for Women are staging a hunger strike at Lafayette Park across from the White House. They're protesting Clinton's expected signature on the welfare reform bill. They say they'll keep it up until the president either signs or vetoes the bill. The bill puts time limits on welfare benefits.
Health first tonight at 10. 2 anti-smoking ads may be on the back burner tonight. The LA Times reports the state of California fears being sued by tobacco companies. Now, the paper says one of the ads, which won't be seen, suggests tobacco executives lied about whether nicotine is addictive. Now, the second says insurance firms offer discounts to non-smokers, even while the tobacco industry insists smoking is not harmful.
If you're not satisfied with the way your body looks, you're not alone. That is, more people than ever are going under the knife, getting plastic surgery for their own bodies. More than 1 million people paid for the services of cosmetic surgeons last year at a cost of $2 billion. The patients who are getting this are not the ones you might think. Some of them are younger than you might think.
It's a working force patient. It's a patient who is there to maintain their appearance, not to perhaps reverse 2 or 3 decades of sun and aging.
70% are under 50. Dr. Baker says most common requests in order: facelift, body contouring, and breast augmentation. Could a British gal really be pregnant with 8 babies? The racy British tabloid News of the World reports the 31-year-old mom-to-be is 18 weeks pregnant with octuplets. Multiple pregnancies are not unusual in women who undergo fertility treatment, as in this case, but experts say it's unlikely that all 8 babies will live. Heavy rain leaves some area residents in deep water. Details when the Fox 21 10 o'clock news continues.
At least all of our watches and warnings in the Fox 21 viewing area have now expired. Now we're going to try and get this rain out of here. Our high and low today in Anderson, 84 and 72. Here's the rest of your almanac information. Your forecast coming up.
It's weather first at 10 on the Fox 21 10 o'clock news.
Flash flooding occurring in North Carolina. This is Burke and Caldwell counties, and you see this is a very important lesson. Most people who lose their lives in flooding lose them in an automobile or a pickup truck. Don't drive through that high water. Let's go ahead and check around the region with our almanac, and I want you to take a look at the precipitation amounts that we have, beginning with Anderson. They didn't do too bad. 43 100s, 79 degrees their current temperature. In Asheville, a little more rain, almost 2 inches, 1.86. And now for Greenville Spartanburg Airport, look at that. In the last 24 hours, over 2 inches of precipitation. Let's go ahead and check the map, and we're going to show you the clouds and where the moisture is pulling in. And again, it is coming in from the south. We've got a low pressure system that's going to continue to move up the coast, and as it does, it's going to continue to create some pretty good showers. From Greenville Spartanburg Airport, this is NEXRAD radar, and you can see the showers moving through the region. Heavier stuff moving up into North Carolina. Some ground clutter over my shoulder there, but they're going to continue to see those showers to the north of us. Now some totals for today, and you can see how they vary. About a ½ inch for Augusta and Charlotte, almost an inch for Charleston, but Spruce Pine, they reported 5 inches around 9 o'clock this morning. Yikes. Yeah, and you can still see it. But now what we're seeing is the front of a low pressure system that is going to continue to move up the mountains, and as it does, we're going to see heavy rains continue through parts of North Carolina into Virginia. There you can see that little spin right there. That is the low pressure system that's moving up the coast, and the clouds and the showers continue to push up the coast. We are going to see a little clearing, although we still have a chance of some scattered showers tonight and into tomorrow. Better chance is going to be up in the mountains. Here's our forecast around the area. There's that low pressure system. Tomorrow continuing to move up. We could continue to see some scattered showers. by Wednesday, starting to get out of the area. Let's check your forecast for tonight. This is what we're looking for the upstate. 67 degrees, scattered showers, low 60s for the mountains. Then for tomorrow, we are looking at the possibility, slight chance of showers in the upstate, the mountains a better chance, 83 for the upstate and mid-70s then for the mountains. Upstate 5-day planning forecast here. Chance of showers tapering off mid-80s. We're going to warm up towards the end of the week. And for the mountains, better chance of showers on Tuesday. Looks like mid-70s and mid to low 60s for those overnight low temperatures. I got to use my pen here because this is my list of things to do tomorrow. Buy an umbrella.
Good idea.
And other than that, and I want to tell the folks at the filling station in Greer, I didn't bring this with me, honest. No, I
That's right. None of us want to take credit for it.
No, absolutely not.
Thanks, David. Still ahead on the Fox 21 10 o'clock news. Shopping for a home computer? You'll have some new choices in the future. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
Coming up in sports, we'll check out the latest from Panthers training camp. And Steve Avery's trip back to the farm turns out to be a downer in Greenville. A bad night for a Braves pitcher is next.
This is the Fox 21 10 o'clock news.
Steve Avery had hoped to throw against Pittsburgh this Saturday for the Atlanta Braves, but those plans are dashed in Greenville tonight. Good evening, everybody. The Braves need some good news on the injury front. David Justice, Danny Batista, Jeff Blauser, and Mark Lemke are all in the DL. The pitching is on the mend. Avery and Jason Schmidt are trying to make it back to the starting rotation. Avery in Greenville tonight, hoping to throw 2 innings, maybe 40, maybe 50 pitches, trying to recover from a stretch in the left side. This is the second pitch of the ball game. Cleveland Liddell with the fly ball to left field. Randall Simon under it, 1 away. Third pitch of the game, Aaron Boone pops it up over the third base, and there now are 2 out. Then comes the fourth pitch of the game. Pat Watkins is at the plate in front of a big house tonight in Greenville, and he fouls sharply to the left field corner. And that is it for Avery. Check out his expression. He talks to the trainer and says, "It's not my night." Says he aggravated it on that third pitch. Trainer says that's it, and Avery's night is done.
And actually, I felt pretty good because I'd thrown a couple times in Atlanta, and didn't have any problems. So I was expecting to go out there and be fine with it, but it just felt good warming up, and then one pitch did it again.
One pitch was it. Avery departs in the first inning after just 4 pitches. And right now the G-Braves are trailing against Chattanooga. It's 4-1. They are in the 6th inning. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves are rained out tonight in Philadelphia. They will play a doubleheader tomorrow at the Vet. Also in the South Atlantic League tonight, Asheville and Augusta also were postponed by rain. Off the field, baseball may have peace between the owners and players at long last. The game hasn't had a deal between the two for more than 3 years. The scene in New York today, sources say the negotiators are so close on a luxury tax that an agreement is inevitable. There have been 13 bargaining sessions the past few days, and more are expected this evening. The 232-day strike that wiped out the '94 World Series began 2 years ago today. The football, the Panthers opened their final week of training camp at Wofford with plenty of work to do. Carolina gave up 4 turnovers, a blocked punt, and 40 points to the Broncos Saturday night. That's the beauty of the preseason. 4 weeks of do-overs. Today at Wofford, one 90-minute workout. It wasn't perfect by any means. The Panthers hope to clear up some problems with that offense. The running game has been frankly inconsistent, and Kerry Collins has struggled, throwing 4 interceptions in the 2 preseason games.
Turnover is certainly something you don't want to cut down on. It's good the first game. This game, had a couple bad decisions. But other than that, my reads are pretty good. That's what keep improving and try and cut down on the mistakes and just keep learning.
They will keep working tomorrow, Tuesday at 9:20, also 7:20. Also for the Panthers, Eric Davis and Muhsin Mohammed are out for this week's exhibition game with Buffalo, while Lamar Lathan will be back. And added up in Dallas, Emmitt Smith, 8 years, $48 million from the Dallas Cowboys. It includes a $15 million signing bonus, meaning Emmitt Smith will stay a Cowboy until the age of 35. Why does he get that kind of money? Well, he's played 6 seasons, and he's a 4-time rushing champion in the NFL. Finally, Little Heisman Trophy golf for you. The Legends Classic going on at River Falls today. Billy Sims playing golf instructor. Sam Rogers will run in a birdie putt and gets a nice high five there from Ed Too Tall Jones. And Harold Carmichael, the former Eagle at 6'8", still shows he can make the big catch. He's a big guy.
He is a big guy.
6'8", that's a big target to throw at.
Big salary for Emmett Smith, too.
48. These numbers dizzy me anymore.
Yeah.
I just reel them off now. It just, 48 million. Oh yeah.
We all went.
Yeah, there's corporations that aren't worth $48 million.
You're right about that. Thanks very much.
Fox Business and Technology now. Next time someone says they can see right through you, don't be surprised if it's a cop. A California company is developing a device that picks up waves emitted by your body. If anything blocks those waves, say a gun, police will see it because the device can see through you and your clothing. Civil rights groups and gun owners are afraid it'll erode privacy. A warning tonight for people whose homes and businesses are protected by burglar alarms. The Spartanburg County Council is considering fining owners when the alarms go off accidentally. Council members say police get too many false alarms, and that takes them away from other duties. Most false alarms are being blamed on faulty systems, but employees who don't know how to use the alarm sometimes are causing problems too. The plan's still under consideration. Grocery store price scanners save time, and now they might even save some work for your favorite checkout clerk.
A do-it-yourself model is in the works, as Fox 21's Mark Lawrence reports.
Your first item and place it in the bag.
If you ever wanted to be a grocery cashier, here's your chance. Of course, you may find it isn't so easy to locate that barcode thing on the package, or get the scanner to beep when you do find it. Then there's the problem of putting the cash into the machine just right. You know, the same problem you have with the soft drink machines. For seniors, there's a learning curve. Still, when there's a long line at the only open cashier at 11 o'clock at night, these do-it-yourself checkouts may look pretty good.
How much of a decline in grocery prices would you anticipate from the cashiers you won't have to pay by having this here?
Those associates, Shaw's associates, if they were in that scenario, would be utilized in other ways within the store.
Still, Shaw's managed to double its express checkouts with half the staff. A Bentley College marketing expert says customers have a right to expect some price drop.
It probably isn't that much of an economic impact, but there certainly are cost savings, otherwise they wouldn't do it.
Items without barcodes are weighed automatically, then computer entered by a clerk watching with a remote camera. Shaw's officials call the self-service checkouts an experiment, but you can bet that in just a year or two, these things will be as common in your local grocery as ATMs are in your hometown.
And that was Michael Lawrence reporting. Changes ahead in the home computer market. Acer America Corporation is unveiling a fall line of PCs. They start up in just a few seconds and run without a fan or other loud disk drive noises that many PCs have. They're also equipped with telephone receivers that can be cradled on armrests mounted to the monitor. Last year, the company livened up computer design with monitors that were black and dark green instead of beige. Acer also plans to start its own internet access service this fall. And while you're surfing the net, check out the Fox 21 webpage. Now the address is www.whns.com. We'd also like to hear from you in our cyberspace. Our email address is fox21@whns.com. Tell us what you think about the new 10 o'clock news. Well, it's not exactly the fountain of youth, but some say it could cure what ails you. That and another look at weather coming up. Keep it tuned to the Fox 21 10 o'clock news.
You're getting it first on the Fox 21 10 o'clock news.
Well, if you're looking for a cool oasis in a sometimes overheated world, you might want to take a trip to Shatley Springs. Located in Ashe County, North Carolina, it's home of Shatley Springs Pure Mountain Spring Water. Shatley Springs was discovered by a farmer 100 years ago. He said it cured his chronic skin condition, and word spread fast. These days, the water is still enjoyed by people who have simple uses for it. Several say there is nothing quite like coffee made with some of nature's finest. Yeah, and it's actually located in the northwest corner of North Carolina near the Tennessee and Virginia borders. And I understand that's a beautiful part of the country.
Beautiful and very wet. They may not be caring much about water. They probably got enough of it right now. I wanted to caution you once again, watch those low-lying areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at your forecast as you roll out tomorrow and head off to work. We are going to see a few more clouds for the mountains and the possibility of some scattered showers. Again, some of those could be heavy around the area. By the time you take off to work, 68 in the upstate, 63 for the mountains. So we're going to get these things out of here, I think, towards the end of the week.
Much better.
Thanks, David. Thanks for watching our premiere broadcast of the Fox 21 10 o'clock news. We look forward to bringing you the news first at 10, 7 days a week.
And now stay tuned for a Fox 21 tradition, Star Trek The Next Generation. For Craig Smith, David Moore, and Fred Cunningham, I'm Connie LeGrand. Have a good night.
To report news first as it happens, call the Fox 21 10 o'clock news line at 255-3211.